All right, let's talk about your career aspirations for the role that you're interviewing for. And this is a question that you're going to get, fairly often in the interview process. Where do you want to head in your career? What are your aspirations here? Now, so a couple things. We're going to break down an example of how to answer this question. But first, let's talk about what is the company looking for in this answer. And really, what they want to know is they want to know if you're all in on this role. Are you committed to this role that you're interviewing for? A lot of times, especially with someone that is early in their career, the employer or the hiring team is worried that they don't really know what they want to do long term. They're going to come here and they're probably going to leave in the first 3 or 4 months. And then I'm going to go hire the replacement and find someone new to hire. So what they want to know is, are you here for the long run? Do you really want to be in this career? Are you all in on this role? So the number one thing to think about and number one thing not to do when you're answering this question is do not mention any other roles. If you're interviewing for a sales role, don't talk about marketing at all. If you're interviewing for a marketing role, don't talk about finance. If you're interviewing for a finance role, don't talk about customer success, right? You should be all in 100% on the role that you're interviewing for that job. So how do you do this? Well, first of all is you really should research this career path, right? Go online, look up the career path for a specific role, understand, different options you may take long term, understand where you can go in this role. That's number one. Number two is have a clear idea of where do you want to head. Think about, okay, this is the path in this role. Where could I see myself? A lot of roles, you could stay as an individual contributor, meaning you could stay in kind of a more of an execution style pathway, or you could move into a leadership pathway. So you could move into management at some point down the road. Show that you're passionate about this career long term, this role that you're interviewing for long term. Talk about where you see yourself 3, 4, 5 years down the road. It's okay to keep it broad. You don't need to be super specific. In the next 9 months, I want to be here. And then 3 months later, I want to be here. And then 7 months later, I want to be here, right? No one knows exactly where they're going to end up and how it's going to shake out. But the goal here is to be all in on this career pathway and to show that you're committed to this role. Talking about, wanting to, become a leader one day, wanting to manage a team one day is a good, broad, long-term goal. Most folks will end up, in that type of role or in some capacity, some sort of leadership role at some point. So that's a good, broad target to have long-term. The number one thing I can't stress this enough, though, is to don't talk about other roles, don't talk about other career pathways other than the one that you're interviewing for here. So let's look at an example here. An example and how I might break this down is I would break it down into two sections. One is kind of short term, two is medium to long term. So if someone asks me, hey, Mitch, where do you want to head in your career? I would say something like this. Well, I'm really excited to start my career here as a sales development rep, and in the future grow into an account executive and hopefully a leadership role where I'm managing a team of salespeople myself. And I really see myself leading teams of people. I've always been drawn to leadership role to help others achieve at their highest level. That's where I want to head. But in the short term, I'm really focused on crushing my job as a sales development rep, learning the fundamentals, learning from everyone around me so that one day I can grow into that role. Now, a bonus here would be to maybe throw it back to the person you're talking to. Ask them a follow-up question. What does the career path look like for most people at this company in this role? Or, hey, I see, you transitioned from X to Y. Can you tell me about why you chose that path? Tell me more about the path that you took to get to where you are today. This is a great, great time for you to really dig into their past and get them talking. Everyone loves to talk about themselves, and you're going to learn a lot by hearing them talk. So use this as a kind of a springboard to start a conversation and dig into them a little bit more as well.